Breaking news, Paul. We have SkyTel overhead. Police are in pursuit of a driver who's wanted for reckless driving. It is this dark vehicle that you're looking at on your screen here. I know we tried to check in on it just a moment ago, but SkyTel had lost sight of it. They are back. You can see this driver driving at some pretty high speeds here. We don't have the speeds on the screen right now, but this is in the San Gabriel Valley. When we first checked it seemed that there were several law enforcement vehicles right on the tail of this vehicle. This since seems that the vehicle has lost them, which you can see the person is driving really fast, not heeding any of these traffic signals, blowing right through that stop sign right there. And again, this is a person who's wanted for reckless driving. I was also mentioning this is the start of the Labor Day weekend, so you have so many more people on the roads traveling. This is not a good time. When we checked in earlier, this person was on the freeway. This has since moved to surface streets, which can also be very dangerous, because, you know, you have people crossing the street. This person is not heeding any of the stop signs. But we are joined now by Dave Avila, who joins us for many of these crashes.
Thank you.
Dave, thank you so much for being with us. Dave? Dave, can you hear me?
Yes, how about me?
Okay, there we are. Yes, I can hear you now. Thank you so much for joining us. We are watching this dark car, which is being pursued, we understand, for reckless driving. We've only been watching for a couple of minutes now, and yeah, what I see is some really high speeds and not heeding, it seems, any traffic signals.
Yeah, and I think what they're doing now is they went ahead and they pulled back. They're going to try that out, because just like what we're trying to do when they do that, is that they're trying to de-escalate the situation. Hopefully he'll slow down. But in this event, no, it's just like he's going to just keep going.
Yeah, you know, when we first tuned in a moment ago before SkyTel kind of lost sight of this vehicle, was exactly what you said. I saw several law enforcement vehicles right on the tail of this car, but you're saying sometimes they feel like that can make the driver continue to drive recklessly.
Yeah, you know, that gets their adrenaline pumping. They see the lights, the sirens. They, you know, they're pumping. They're trying to get away. You know, that's their goal right now, and it's at anybody's expense out there. I mean, meaning that the traffic, you know, we're blowing red lights, we're getting through all this stuff, and so yeah, that's when they pull back and say we're just going to trail it and see if we could just calm that person down.
Well, that does not seem to be working. We've seen him drive on the wrong side of the street multiple times here, blowing through all these stop signs, red lights. This person doesn't seem to be taking any kind of caution.
No, and that's what this is not working. So there's times that they'll say, okay, they'll go to the watch commander or the incident commander, whatever the department has, and they'll say, okay, at this point, let's go ahead and reinitiate the pursuit. So you got the sheriff's bird overhead, so they're keeping an eye on it. And what that tactical flight deputy, that TFD, is doing is that he or she is broadcasting the direction, the speed, anything that's coming up, that you know, just keeping all the units in the vicinity, just keeping them aware of where this suspect's at.
Yeah, and I'm watching the speeds here. We're seeing it going over 70 miles per hour on surface streets, which is so concerning.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is the worst time. I mean, it's almost lunchtime. It's 11:12, so you're going to start seeing more people out there. You know, more people, more pedestrians, and that's a scary spot. That's a scary spot. That's a scary thing, is that this suspect here is just blowing the stop signs, the red lights, turning, you know, just high speed. Just doesn't really care about anybody. He's just trying to get away.
Yeah, typically, what do we see law enforcement do? It looks like they're blowing right past it looks like a vehicle there. When we see them choose to pull off so that they can de-escalate, but this is clearly not de-escalating, do you think we're going to see them catch up with him again soon?
I think so. You know, but let's not forget, just because they're not right behind them doesn't mean that they're not in the vicinity.
True.
They are, just like that one black and white was probably sitting there just trying to stay in the area. That way, if this individual decides to park it and then take off on foot, you know, the air unit can start setting up a perimeter.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's where we're at right now. So we're still kind of concerned about the suspects themselves. Is, you know, why are they running like this? I mean, this is desperation. So was they running from a 211, a robbery, a burglary, or something even worse?
Right. What is making them do this? When we originally checked in, they were just getting off of the freeway. I know it's always dangerous when we talk about them going on the surface streets. You've got pedestrians, somebody's walking along the street right there, blowing through all these stop signs, not regarding traffic rules in an area where typically people might cross the street and not be being as cautious about things.
No, not at all. I mean, they see the helicopter, they hear the helicopter, they know something's going on, but they're looking up. So, there's another black and white in the vicinity that's kind of cruising behind them, about a block behind. So, we don't know if this suspect has a weapon or not. There's a lot of factors to consider. Number one is public safety with any department. The nature of the defense. We throw in officer safety, get their air unit overhead. That helps with that. That way the black and whites can pull off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is really bad. I mean, they're just blowing right through.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. You wonder if anything, is going to make them pause, and nothing does. When they run into cars, look how close they came to that car, that are in their way. They clearly have no problem driving in the wrong lane of traffic. We've seen that several times. Blowing through stop signs, making some really fast, hard turns. It doesn't seem like anything is deterring this driver.
Yeah, exactly. Track without sight.
And we mentioned this person was being pursued for reckless driving. Again, we don't know why, but it also makes you wonder, they're just continuing that. I mean, we just don't see any regard here for safety or traffic rules.
No, and and remember, these officers have no idea what this suspect is running from, as we had just talked about. So that's why they have to keep their guards up when they do finally get this suspect stopped, or they go in foot pursuit of them, whatever. But it's just one of those things where it's just like we're all looking at this vehicle. It just ran right by the trash cans in another vehicle. Total inconsideration for the public whatsoever at this time.
Right. There's no regard for safety here at all.
No.
The other interesting thing is we were just talking about how busy the roadways are going to be because the Labor Day holiday travel is kicking off. I know we never want to see them on the freeways, but I'd imagine they're more packed than normal if this person decides to get back on the freeway.
Yeah. It's speaking about the weekend coming up here, we'll see what happens, and hopefully we won't see as many pursuits, but this is Los Angeles area. So, we could see the hands of the suspect.
Right.
We could see the left hand on the steering wheel right now.
Yeah.
We got a good shot of that. It's just kudos to our air unit. They're doing a great job on this.
Absolutely. And again, we know that this driver is being pursued for reckless driving. As you can see, they're continuing that. We also don't know if anyone else is in this car. Or, you always have to wonder where the suspect is headed. Do they have a plan? Are they going to a familiar place? Oh, they came really close to that truck there. But again, you barely see them slow down when they get close to something that could be a collision. You have to wonder, are they going somewhere? Are they trying to make it home? Are they trying to make it to a friend or relative's house? This person is driving so quickly, you wonder if they have a destination in mind.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, that's usually what we've seen in the past many a time, is that they try to get to an area that they're familiar with. And we couldn't see the suspect's right hand. They're probably on their cell phone.
Right.
Trying to get hold of everybody. So
we're in the Southgate area now, and we just see them continuing to blow through these streets up to more than 70 miles per hour at some point. Right now, they're going about slowing down a little bit to make this turn. It actually is amazing. We haven't seen many people outside because, as you mentioned, we're approaching lunchtime. And so far, since we've been watching, we haven't seen any actual collisions, which is amazing because this driver is really taking no regard for anyone's safety, including their own.
Yeah, absolutely. That just shows you, like we were mentioning before, the desperation in this. So we have no idea. It's just what I'm sure they're discussing right now. They're all discussing the departments that are involved in this, about the pit maneuver, the spike strips.
Right.
I mean, but how do you know where this suspect's going?
Yeah.
So you stick black and whites. If they stick in a particular area, there were those pedestrians. So
right,
that
very
poor guy
close.
holding that cart right now that he got real close to.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of discussion going on right now with the units between departments.
Right, and it seems he's moved on to some busier streets, which for a while it looked like they were almost purposefully taking back streets, maybe because they were emptier. It's almost looked like the goal is just to keep moving.
Yeah, I think that's it right now. I think what they're trying to do is just decide what they're going to do. You know,
Right.
because we've seen this before where they just start going from street to street. It's not our usual one where we kind of like stay in a neighborhood
Right.
or a section of the city,
Yeah.
you know, but this suspect here is just all over the place. So this just tells you that their adrenaline's pumping. You can imagine, well, none of us can imagine what they're going through.
Right.
But exactly that the desperation to get away and just flooring it and going to every street. There we are on the wrong side of the
Yeah,
street.
on the wrong side of the street, which we've seen many times.
Yeah, followed by a blowing that stop sign. In a while back, he was making those corners, those streets that kind of curve like a 90-degree turn.
Yeah.
And he was the wrong side of the double yellows.
Okay, and this
Yeah.
is what we were talking about. It looks like he's decided to get on the 5.
Okay.
The 5 North, yeah. I mean, it's dangerous to watch them be on surface streets where, of course, there's pedestrians and people aren't moving as quickly. But as you see, this is the 5 North and there's traffic, Dave. So I think, you know, we were talking about how packed the roadways and freeways are supposed to be because of Labor Day travel. That's exactly what we're seeing here. So you wonder if this driver, is this going to calm them down? Are they going to go back to the surface streets or just weave through this traffic?
Yeah, exactly. And now we probably got the CHPs, or the CHPs aware of this pursuit. They're just probably going to see how long it's going to stay on the freeway, whether or not they're going to actually take part in this, maybe even take it over. But it looks like he has no intention, or I say he, it could be he or she, we don't know yet, whether or not they're going to stay on the freeway. They are hanging out on the right side of the freeways, like if they're ready for an exit.
Right. Okay,
yeah,
and
we got that other screen going from the earlier part, and you can see those black and whites right on them.
Yeah.
And the speed that they're traveling.
Yeah, and it looked like the closer and closer they got, the more the driver sped up.
Right, and going around vehicles, cutting off people that have no idea what's going on. They look in the rearview mirror, they see a black and white with lights going, and they don't know which way to go.
Yeah.
So now it looks like we're getting off the freeway here?
It looks like we're getting off the freeway, and I was wondering if that was going to happen because there's so much traffic. This person has been driving at some really high speeds. They can't really do that because the freeways are packed, I think, as people start either heading to lunch or making their way out of town for Labor Day weekend.
Exactly, yeah. You know, and then all the business trucks. I've seen a lot of business type vans out there on the freeway, but now that we're off the street, here we go. Now we're back. We're totally away from the area that we first started.
Right.
So this maybe they're deciding where they want to dump that vehicle and run.
Maybe so. They're now in the Boyle Heights area. They finally got on the northbound 5 and made their way over to Boyle Heights. But yeah, we've been watching this and okay, they are driving, it seems, on the side of the interstate. Yeah,
they look like they're on the medium. I guess you would call it a medium. It's all the dirt filled and stuff.
Oh.
Now, this is kind of interesting. We'll see what he does here.
This is very interesting, unless they're cutting under the interstate.
Yeah, and they're probably going to leave the vehicle here. It kind of looks like that's what they have.
Oh, okay. Yeah, now there is a person there.
Yeah. And I would bet.
Right. We don't want to make assumptions,
everybody.
but that is where the car went under the interstate. And now we saw a person coming out, it looks like in a dark hoodie. We cannot be certain that that is the driver.
Correct.
But we did just see that person get out and walk from under the interstate. And that's kind of the assumption you were making, Dave. You were saying this looks like if they're driving that way, they're trying to abandon that vehicle.
Yeah. And what the air unit's going to do now, as you can see, they're kind of widening out, kind of like an oval shaped type of orbit. And so they're directing units over there, but they're also trying to watch all the corners. And that's where, you know, we've seen that lately where some suspects have been getting away, but of course with follow-up.
It's kind of unbelievable. In some of the really dramatic cases and chases, we have been seeing the driver get away, and I guess that's why they do it. I see them in the person we saw in a dark hoodie again that came from under the direction of the interstate where we saw the car being dropped, walking pretty calmly. So again, we're not sure if this is the driver or not. If it is, I guess that could be part of the tactic in getting away, to just act calmly like nothing happened, like you were already there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, I'm just walking underneath freeway passes like a normal person.
Like a
that's
normal
not
person.
going to work.
Yeah.
But no, you made a really good point there. You can't just assume that's a driver. You're going to detain them, and then you're going to go ahead and then just follow up on it and see how you can connect that driver with the vehicle.
Yeah. It is amazing to see how far away he got from law enforcement, especially when we looked at that video earlier, Dave, of how close they were on the tail. But as you said, law enforcement was trying to de-escalate the situation because this person was driving so recklessly.
Yeah, and that was a good call on their part. That's why we did that. I mean, years ago, somebody would have told me when I was in a black and white chasing somebody, hey, pull off. Well, my response would have been, what?
Right,
but
right.
Nowadays they found out that this actually works. So it's something, there's a unit. There goes
Okay,
the
yeah, we're
deputies.
seeing them rush out of that vehicle and go underneath the interstate. I'm thinking this is the portion where the car was left.
Yeah, yes, I believe so. Now the air unit did a heck of a job. There's another black and white there also. It's underneath the freeway. Now we'll see it come out on this side. But that TFD, that tactical flight deputy, did a good job. I mean, you can imagine trying to get units to go to an exact spot where you want them to when you're looking at a bunch of freeways, overheads, and underpasses. And no, they did a good job there. Hopefully they get this individual.
And you don't know if the driver was thinking ahead of all this, but yes, this is a very confusing spot to have to direct law enforcement to, and you wonder if all that confusion is what led. We see law enforcement running there. It looks like he's going to jump this fence.
Yes.
And you wonder if they see the person who we believe was the driver appeared to get out of that vehicle, but the vehicle went underneath the interstate, which is why we're not exactly clear on if that was the driver.
Right. And good as they can do, the TFD is getting a perimeter, if you will, set up.
Right.
Even with deputies on foot, they'll get them set up there and just trying to contain the suspect right now. But let's not forget, you really can't just run up on this suspect. They have a hoodie, so you don't know if they got a 9mm shoved down their waistband or. Sure. This is like we had talked about earlier. We have no idea why they were running it, driving so fast, and just total disregard for the public safety. Yeah, it was a person wanted for reckless driving, and as you said, there could be many different reasonings for that, and they continued driving recklessly as they noticed that police were following them. But yes, police are trying to reach them. The only thing is, the only way to get away would be almost to run across the interstate at most points. So this may give the police some advantage here. Yeah, I think so. And that gets to their units watching there, all the sides and the top sides also that they cannot see. But the way that they're sitting there, they may have a visual on the suspect. Oh, it looks like, okay, it appears that the person we saw in the black hoodie is standing in front of the officers now. The tennis shoes. Yeah, yes. I got one little snip of it. So it seemed that they have that person. I couldn't tell if the person had handcuffs on, but they have definitely caught up with that person. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we both seen it at the same time. So good deal. All right. Yeah, this appears to be the end of a pursuit that we have been watching. It looks like they're trying to cut through a fence. Perhaps they're trying to reach the vehicle that we assume the driver abandoned when he drove underneath the interstate. Yeah, you see them trying to cut the fence there, Dave? Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're both the deputy on both sides. And, there's the wire cutters right there. Yeah, so. And now we have a good view of the person who, yes, it looks like they have detained. Yes, cuffed up. Well, so glad it ended the way it did. Too bad we got these pursuits, but it ended well. Yeah, this person was driving so recklessly through the streets on the interstate, going more than 70 miles per hour on surface streets. Thank goodness we did not witness at least any collisions or them hurting anyone. And this pursuit seems to have come to an end in Boyle Heights under the 5, where this driver abandoned their vehicle. Dave, thank you so much for being with us. We always appreciate your insight on these to understand how law enforcement is processing all of this. Anytime. All right. Thank you so much for being with us.